Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the BEA, their part number 6R433. This is a kit basically of equipment that you're going to need to get you up and running with wireless activation over most likely a low energy automatic door, possibly a high energy automatic door. Could certainly be that as well if there are sensors involved, but the switches will allow you to assist in automating the process. So the item from BEA, the 6R, consists of two round push plates, two surface mount boxes for those, one transmitter, two transmitters. You need two transmitters because you have two push plates, and then one receiver. And a receiver can easily handle, I believe it's up to 100 transmitters, so there's certainly no problem with that. And there is a link below this video to the document called Cut Sheet, and that is just simply an overview of the system, giving you a detailed view of what you would get in a package, so to speak. It's a one-box solution, as they call it, and all of the products are listed there in their different variants, meaning the 6R is going to give you the two round push plates. If you were to change that to the 4.5S, it'll give you square S 4.5-inch push plates, and you can see the detail. That's all down there below. Now let's take a deep dive into this box that's here. And it's one consolidated box that we're going to get when this kit is ordered from the factory. And really, in the world of activation of automatic doors, there's round 6-inch diameter round push plates. Then there are square push plates that are either 4.5-inch square or 4 3/4 square. You can do a 300 megahertz. You can do a 433 megahertz. You can do a 900 megahertz. Can be done as well in activation of this material. There are 300 megahertz items made, but in these kits it'd be 433 or it would be 900 megahertz would be the two options that would be available. And really what BEA is assembling here is just a kit for your easier to proceed with sort of operation. So that's what we're getting here. You're going to get two plastic surface mount boxes. You're going to get two round push plates. You will get two transmitters. Then you're going to get one receiver. You only need one receiver per door anyway. So let's take a look. And there are links below this this video to installation instructions on all of these items. And being BEA, what that really means is it's the simplest of material to install in terms of the actuation, the programming. So the 6R is going to specifically give you this stainless background with the push to open letters with the handicap symbol that's there. This specific setup is going to be the 6R. In the installation instructions of which there are several links naturally because of the different components, you are going to see on page 1 of the push plate installation instructions how that part number is going to change as your description changes. Okay, so we're dealing with a 6-inch round push to open text and logo, which can only be the 10 PBR1 would be the part number that we're dealing with, a 10 PBR1. So that's the individual part number that's associated here with that, because we're dealing with 6-inch round. Forgive me, I forgot to mention 6-inch square as well. You can change the description into any of those other 4 options if you want round. The transmitter really all that you have is what's called a cherry switch, and these are available as separate standalone items. You can replace these. They're very inexpensive, and they do fatigue and need to be replaced. They will break down. It's not unusual. You're going to have a common and a normally. You're going to have a common, obviously. Common, C-O-M. NC and NO. Obviously, normally open is going to be pretty typical for such a situation. So what normally open means, it's a cherry switch, so it can be used in different applications, but a normally open circuit is that the circuit is open, meaning nothing's happening. The circuit is not continuous, and nothing can happen until it's temporarily closed, and then it will open again. So when you connect your flag connectors, you will wire it to the transmitter, and when you have it set on the normally open position, normally open, you'll push the switch, it closes, opens back up. That's how that'll work, and that's how you're going to fire that automatic door operator. This is a 6-inch diameter plate, as we said earlier. It's upside down, no problem. And kind of working in, and this will mount right to your Surface box. That packaging does include not only your flag connectors, but your screws and your wire nuts. And then, of course, the tool that you're going to need to get to the head of those screws, which are going to go trying not to cut everything out of the packaging. It seems like we won't be so lucky. You're going to mount that. And obviously, being a 4-gang or 2-gang box, you can mount it down differently if you like, but your two mounting points are going to occur here and here, pardon me, here, here and here with those brass inserts. You'll use those screws that are included here and here, and then that Allen wrench will allow you to get that attached. And that's how you'll install this unit. Obviously, coming up with some sort of fasteners for the box itself would be, of course, required for your installation. There is going to also be a link to the surface mount box pack paperwork. And really, it's just a generic overview, again, of all of the available boxes. And the next thing that we're going to get to is, of course, the transmitter. Okay, so the transmitter is going to fit inside of the box and then connect to the cherry switch. So from the cherry switch, if you recall, we've got common and we've got normally open. Common and then normally open. Your flag connectors, which you're not going to need because your transmitter is going to come with them. They're inside of this packaging here. Okay, common, green, right? Normally open. Your 9-volt battery, and that's buried in the part number. Your the transmitter part number is a TD, T for transmitter, 433, that's the megahertz. PB, push button, 9-volt. You're going to get a 9-volt battery. You'll get a couple of pieces of hook and loop tape to get that secured to the back of your box, the back of your transmitter. You're going to want to make it so that you can replace the power easily. There are 2 screws on the back of your transmitter. There's no reason to go in there. There's nothing in there that needs to be serviced. Cherry switch, power supply, you're getting close to being done. Real close. Again, installation instructions will come with this, but this is going to really then dovetail us into the receiver review. And the receiver is where all the work is done. And basically all you're telling the receiver is to open or learn, and then basically put it into the learn mode. The same thing on your garage door at home, really. Put it into learn mode, hit your transmitter, wait for the lights to flash. You're done. And that's really the hallmark of why BEA products are so beautiful in their design, because they are literally the least complex of all hardware, especially when it comes to electrified hardware. You've got automatic door operators, and there's really not a lot going on there. There's not a lot going on here, but you could easily quickly appreciate how much work they've put into just making this stuff very clear cut and easy to understand. So you're not going to use all of your flag connectors. You're going to have extras because these pieces are literally being assembled. Now, as we move through the product review, and again, 2 transmitters, because you have 2 push plates. The final item to review really is the receiver, and that's going to be connected up to most likely your automatic door. I have people that install these with electric strikes as well. You can order from BEA keychain style transmitters. They're literally going to look like that other transmitter, just with a keychain over it, and all of it's contained. It wouldn't be a 9-volt battery. It'd be a 3-volt battery. It'd be a little, a 3-volt battery. Like a battery you'd see on a computer board, that sort of type-shaped battery, the flat disc style batteries. And all of the work in setting everything up is literally done on the receiver. Now, BEA does have their BR3, which is going to give you much greater capability because it possesses internal relays and far more functionality. Outrageously capable. It's a 10 BR3. If you need to have the ability to trigger something to happen where a relay is actually required because of the electrical characteristics of what you're trying to manipulate, then the 10 BR3 is probably what you need. So you obviously have your power coming in. You've got your common. You've got your normally open, normally closed. That's all detailed right at the tip of my finger for power. 12 volt, common, normally open. I actually said the common was green earlier. It's obviously normally open. You've got dip switches here. You've got learn buttons here. You've got this, which is called a potentiometer, and that's going to be referred to in the installation instructions. It's basically a volume knob, but they do call them potentiometers. You'll get a couple of hook and loop tape pads for getting that put away where you need. So if you are installing your item onto an automatic door operator, you're literally going to be looking for the signal activation input in that wiring diagram. That's generally what they're called. Whether it's wireless or it's hardwired, doesn't really matter. You're looking for the input. And that's pretty universal, obviously, on automatic door operators. The installation instructions, again, refer to the different options available. You can see those different keychain transmitters that are there. There we go. On the right-hand side, you've got the 2 different transmitters with the 3 volt and then the 9 volt. And those are, again, called flag connectors on there because they look literally like a flag when you hold them sideways. The electrical characteristics of the receiver are listed here. The important part of this is really just summarized into the programming, which, occupies a small percentage of the entire installation instructions. Those dip switches that are there permit you to set it into a pulse sort of operation where you press the transmitter once and it will be the receiver will operate momentarily, like a momentary switch, like a doorbell button. Okay. You could also have a maintained switch, which would be like a key switch on a door, like an automatic door would be a maintained switch, where you want to set the unit into a position where the doors don't operate anymore. because they are maintained in a situation where the circuit is open, let's say, until you key it back. Setting the dip switches into the toggle type of relay will allow you to press the transmitter once and the relay output is active indefinitely until you press it again. So maintained, then it's, closed again. The second set of, let's see here now. We have toggle position 1 and 2. So we've got toggle dip switch 1 will give you pulse or toggle. Position 2 will give you a half of a second hold time or a 10-second hold time. A half of a second hold time, I would think you're going to be setting this in position 1 off, position 2 off, if you're looking at the instructions down below this video. Pulse for half of a second hold time. You want to hit the button, it's going to activate, and then you're back into its natural state. You might want a 10-second sort of hold time if you were working with a piece of hardware that you wanted the door to be in a particular position before it reactivated. I could imagine the concept of having a 10-second delay on a piece of hardware to permit the door to get back into the closed position before something else happened. Whatever that might be. Maybe a lock relocking, or a light coming on, or an LED switching, whatever that might be. And really, this sort of stuff is just limited by imagination. It's limited by what your opening requires, but with normally open, with common normally open, normally closed, and then relays. The installation instructions go on to talk about handheld configuration, etc. It does identify the color, and I did indicate earlier that common was green. It's certainly not. It's white, which is indicated here. Okay, if you have an application where there'd be normally closed wires, which you certainly could, it would be gray in this system, but now you know how the wires are defined. Okay, battery replacement is spoken about as well, and the installation instructions appear to have a lot of information that you say to yourself, gosh, that's a lot of information. It's just not, because there's not much to these items. And I think what you'll notice is in the world of wireless and wired activation products, you'll probably see a lot of manufacturers who have private labeled material that looks an awful lot like this BEA material, and that's because I believe BEA is the OEM manufacturer of that material, and other people don't get into the business of trying to reinvent the wheel. BEA already has that all well figured out, so they just private label the material. So the point being is, if you're dealing with different manufacturers of automatic door equipment, whether it be high energy being those openings that have sensors incorporated, or low energy, like you might have occasional handicap compliance over the front door of a restaurant, where you need to be able to have that, or to a bathroom, very common certainly. You're going to find that these manufacturers of all these doors are getting that material probably from BEA. So if you bump into needing it, I would suggest that you familiarize yourself with the BEA product line, because that might be where you end up to begin with. There is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the BEA products that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. So if you have any questions on the BEA 6R kit, 433 megahertz, or any other BEA product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.